Nikki Haley, who is the Republican establishment's favorite candidate for president. They would prefer her over Ron DeSantis any day. Of course, we all know how they feel about Donald Trump, but she was on Fox News yesterday and unveiled her plan to fix social media if she were to become the president.
When I get into office, the first thing we have to do, social media accounts, social media companies, they have to show America their algorithms. Let us see why they're pushing what they're pushing.
Well, that's actually a good idea, but here comes the poison pill.
The second thing is every person on social media should be verified by their name. That's, first of all, it's a national security threat. When you do that, all of a sudden people have to stand by what they say, and it gets rid of the Russian bots, the Iranian bots, and the Chinese bots. And then you're going to get some civility when people know their name is next to what they say.
Accountability.
And they know their pastor and their family member is going to see it. It's going to help our kids, and it's going to help our country.
No, it's not going to help the kids, and it's not going to help the country, because if everybody had to use their real name when posting on social media, then college kids, high schoolers, and everybody else would have their careers ruined and their career paths completely cut off by simply voicing their opinions or posting uncomfortable facts on social media that go against the liberal orthodoxy, because we're now living under a Marxist regime. And let's not forget that the founding fathers, who wrote a bunch of articles and essays promoting the ratification of the Constitution, later known as the Federalist Papers, used pseudonyms to protect their real identities. This is the same thing that psychologist Jordan Peterson has been promoting for over a year now, because anonymous, quote, troll demons on Twitter keep hurting his feelings. And this is another reason not to vote for Ron DeSantis, because if by some miracle he is the Republican nominee, the odds are that he will pick Nikki Haley as his running mate, who, you may recall, said that she wasn't going to run for president at all if Donald Trump decided to run for re-election. Remember this lie?
I would not run if President Trump ran.
Neocon Nikki Haley is sounding an awful lot like New York Democrat Governor Kathy Hochul, who just revealed this plan.
Also, we're very focused on the data we're collecting from surveillance efforts, what's being said on social media platforms. And we have launched an effort to be able to counter some of the negativity and reach out to people when we see hate speech being spoken about on online platforms.
Oh, they can counter what people are saying. That sure sounds an awful lot like Operation Earnest Voice, the Department of Defense bot program, which, of course, they say that they were only using in foreign countries because they would never lie and use it on Twitter and other social media accounts to try to influence Americans' opinions. And when people are saying things that the government or the ADL hates, then that's hate speech, and they're going to have to reach out to you to give you a nice talk about that too. And speaking of Nikki Haley, Candace Owens has noticed some things about her presidential campaign that you're not supposed to talk about if you do notice them, because it's the ultimate taboo in Republican politics. And those who do notice them and don't celebrate them or just keep their mouth shut about it, then have their career path immediately cut off, and they lose any hope of ever becoming a national figure. But because Candace Owens is already a big star, this opened up a gigantic can of worms for her. And let's just say her days at the Daily Wire may be numbered.
I am here today to endorse Nikki Haley for president of Israel. I think she's earned that. I think Bibi Netanyahu is going through a very bad time right now. Support for Israel has virtually collapsed socially. If you're paying attention to the trends and you're paying attention to what people are watching, you're paying attention to the protests. And the one person that I think is capable of getting it back is Nikki Haley, with enough money from foreign interest lobbies. So there it is, guys. I'm endorsing Nikki Haley, president of Israel.
I don't know if most people understand like what a can of worms she just opened there. And well, she didn't mention the name of the most wealthy and influential lobby in the world. And I probably shouldn't do that either, because you're not supposed to speak ill of them at all. You just have to look them up and do some research on your own. She definitely crossed a line that is never crossed in mainstream conservative politics. And so Ben Shapiro is not very happy about that. Oh, before I show you his reaction, here's Candace being extremely based, as the kids say, noticing too many patterns and asking too many questions that, like I said, you're not allowed to talk about in mainstream conservative politics because this is the kind of thing that ends your career.
There are a lot of people in America that are sitting here going, okay, well, can you answer why Jews are so special? Because as white people in this country on university campuses, we are being taught that we are not allowed to have a voice. We have had to endure exactly what you're talking about, BLM. We've endured much worse than you have because it's in the actual textbooks. We are being told that we are systematically racist, that we are born wrong because of the color of our skin. And if we say anything, we'll lose everything. This is the typical experience on white campuses. So people, this is not whataboutism. This is like actually what we have been fighting for years. So it sort of arrived as, I think, for a lot of Americans, a surprise when they're saying, well, now that it's about Israel, which is something that's overseas, we need to, hand these university professors, we need to do something about this issue. Why weren't we trying to correct course on this issue? Why weren't donors pulling their funding out of these universities? Why weren't these same things being said for these last, I would say, 8 years of rampant BLM, white man can't do anything right, actively being taught in the classrooms?
Well, Candace, answering that question honestly is not allowed. In fact, just asking it is not allowed either. Right, Ben?
Yes. The question was about Candace Owens. I think her behavior during this has been disgraceful. Without a doubt.
Her behavior is disgraceful, he said.
I can't know that. Yeah, she still works for my company. And I think she's been absolutely disgraceful.
Absolutely disgraceful.
I think that her faux sophistication on these particular issues has been ridiculous. It's not faux sophistication, it's ridiculous. Everybody can see the moves that she's making and the things that she's saying, and I find them disreputable.
I find them disreputable. I find you disreputable, Ben, and your spirit animal, neocon Nikki Haley, that's what he calls her, disreputable too.
It is not that Israel needs America. America needs Israel.
They don't need us. We need them. Which is why the United States government gives them $5 billion a year in U.S. tax dollars in aid every single year and have for like 75 years. In fact, they are the largest total recipient of United States aid in the world. Matt Walsh is also going to get the talk from Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring, who are basically the largest owners of the Daily Wire, because he too is noticing a few too many things and talking about them.
This is not how people talk about their own countries. This is a uniquely modern American phenomenon. It's like a sickness, a mental sickness, where some of our leaders, or would-be leaders, profess greater admiration and love for and pride in foreign countries than their own. It's just a crazy thing to say. Again,
could you please be a little more specific, Matt? Everybody's going to assume that you're talking about Ukraine. Come on, bro. You got enough money. Get up closer to that line.
Israel doesn't need us. We need them. If that's true, then how can you say that in one breath and then in the next breath tell us that it is imperative for the United States to help Israel? I thought you said they don't need us. I mean, they don't need us at all. We could not exist, according to you, and it would make a difference.
He's talking about Nikki Haley there, but also indirectly his boss, Ben Shapiro. Want to hear something else interesting? Since I've already gotten a little close to that line myself in this video, might as well just keep going. Here's something else you'll never hear any Republican in Congress talk about, or anybody on the mainstream media. I'm actually shocked that this was reported on Newsmax. And this is true, by the way.
Conservative Christian leaders are calling on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to stop a bill proposed by members of his coalition to make it criminal to tell people about Jesus in Israel. Our Jerusalem correspondent Daniel Cohen is live near Tel Aviv with more. Good morning, Daniel.
Good morning. This is true, and this will be the last time that you'll ever hear about this on Newsmax, because after this segment airs, everybody involved with it is going to get the call. This is nothing, by the way. I told you, you should order my book, The War on Conservatives, in paperback from Amazon.com, or click the link in the description below. It sounds like a normal book. Oh, yeah, the conservatives are being censored, and there's a lot of bias in the media, and conservatives are getting canceled, but it's so much more than that. It goes very, very deep and into details. If you enjoy watching my videos, I know you're going to love my book. So check out The War on Conservatives in paperback on Amazon.com, or click the link in the description below and check it out.